This is Robyn Leslie with onlytheinspired.com, here to do another amazing interview with Miss Beautiful Lynn Lessel. So let's get to know her a little bit. So Lynn, in a couple of minutes, describe who you are and how you help people.
Well, Robyn, I appreciate you asking. My clients actually call me the identity coach. And the reason is because I help them discover their secret identity. And where does that come into play? Well, a lot of professionals that I work with have a frustration feeling like they're not getting the return on investment that they're making when they network. And what a lot of people don't realize is that almost every experience we have is a type of networking. What we're doing right now, in a sense, is networking. What is networking? It's building connections. And when we want to build really, really tight connections, there's really a special way to go about it. And I've come up with 3 steps and a formula that really has transformed the way a lot of professionals that I have worked with are actually building connections.
Oh, very cool. So how did you get started in this business, and what was the event or series of events that happened to get you to do this?
An interesting question. I was as a manager for wellness centers, and I was helping a lot of patients. And prior to that, my history was through a lot of different medical offices. I've been in a lot of different industries. I've always really helped people and been business development, helped with building businesses and making great connections. And that was just me. That was the nature of who I am. But through the years, I had a lot of stress. I had what I refer to as many hat syndrome, where from the time I was just a little kid, my little itty bitty hats went to become bigger hats. And why is that? Because I think with all the expectations that get put on us from other people, we start to be the people that others expect us to be, rather than being the person that we want ourselves to be. And so with working with those wellness centers, I decided I was going to become a certified health coach. And I was working on helping a lot of professionals with that because I'm a member of 2 chambers. And through that, I started hearing a lot of professionals complaining about this hamster wheel society we're on, and I can't because I have to. And I'm so frustrated. I feel like I'm spending so much money on going to networking events, and I'm just leaving with a stack of cards, and I'm not really getting extra business, and what's going on. And I actually just started doing what I've always done and helping those people. And it just became a demand. People wanted to know, how did I do what I do? And then the people I was working with called me the identity coach, and now I'm teaching people how to elevate their elevator pitch in the chamber. So it's really been an interesting dynamic. It's kind of like my clients chose me rather than me choosing my clients. And the wonderful thing about it, Robyn, is that when I work with these people on how to be able to build these better connections, ultimately all the other dimensions in their life get better. And what's beautiful about that is that it really can affect our health. One of the problems that I had from many hat syndrome was the fact that it was causing so much stress internally. And here's the thing. We don't pay attention to all the little signals until we get that big red flag that pops up. And then we go and try to fix it. By that point, we're not even sure what caused it. And so now we get even more stressed out of the frustration of why the stress caused this significant issue. Well, when you use my steps, my formula, and you actually put it all together and you start building all these better connections, and you have all of this magic happening from this beautiful secret identity that you now never even knew you yourself had, your stress level goes down, your energy goes up, and your health actually improves. You can get better sleep. Some gut issues can go away. So I'm not only a certified health coach, I'm a certified life coach. And so we work on all the dimensions of someone's life to really just transform from where they are and where they want to go to. And we do it rather quickly.
Right. And I like that. When we first talked, you talked about helping people see the things that they don't see, and how, we do everything that other people expect us to do. So how do you help them get out of that, where we find our own identity? Because that's a tough place. A lot of us, actually get into careers because other people think we should, our parents or whatever, we kind of go that. So I know, and that's a place of where people get really frustrated and lost, because it's like this, I am not being me. And I know you help people, discover that a little bit more about themselves. Can you talk a little bit more about that?
I absolutely can. And one of the things that I really like to share with people is my thoughts about where the identity really is the question that we don't ask ourselves. So I'll typically ask somebody, who's your favorite superhero? And now that you've got that, what's their alter ego? Do you know who they are? But for the moment, let's do a little imagination, and let's talk about somebody everybody knows, no matter how old or young you are. Superman, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Superman is expected to save everyone from harm and protect everyone in the world and show up the minute someone yells help.
Mm-hmm.
As Clark Kent, his alter ego, he actually is expected to report all the current news in amazing writing and report the news about himself, Superman.
Mm-hmm.
So what about before he actually became an adult? As Superboy, he was still saving people, but he also had a social network of friends who had certain expectations from him.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also had two families. He had his Earth family and his alien family.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of those families expected different things from him because he was from different worlds.
Right.
So here's my question, Robyn, and I hope the listeners can actually think about this. Did anybody ever ask Superman who he wanted to be?
No, I don't think so. Yeah.
Who would he be if he ever had the chance to decide that? That's that faceless identity that's deep down inside at the core of who we are, that we most often don't have enough time to even ask ourselves, who would we want that to be?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're so busy wearing all of these hats. And so I ask the right questions in order to be able to help somebody start to actually think from that perspective, to take them out of all those other environments where everybody else expects certain things from them.
Right.
And really put themselves into the place that's really there. So I'll ask, what's the one thing about you that doesn't change no matter what changes around you? And it's not always an easy answer. We think that we have it, but when we really start to think about it and dig a little bit deeper, it can change. I know for me, it definitely changed, because when I finally figured out how to make that change for myself and got onto the other side, let's face it, the facts around me don't change, but my perception of everything certainly has.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, if there's somebody that you can't see when you're trying to build relationships with other people, isn't it possible that maybe they can't see that person either?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think there's a lot of us that, for a big part of our life don't actually know who we are. And it's a journey to find that out. And I love that you help people find that. So describe your ultimate vision for your business.
my ultimate vision for my business is to be able to have an impact on as many people as possible, which is one of the reasons why I'm in the process of getting my website together, to be able to offer an online platform, because I'm only one person. So I can obviously only work with so many people all at once.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to be able to make sure that I can make a connection to as many people that would need it. And it all kind of generated with my Me Monday concept, which is where I really believe is the first step towards that secret identity. Did I share with you about Me Monday on our last call?
No, I don't think so.
So Me Monday came to life a little over a year ago, and it was my way of putting a day on the calendar every week that you schedule something special for yourself. Okay? I've had people say, why Monday? I said, that's why Monday.
Because nobody likes Monday.
Well, guess what? I'm changing that.
Uh-huh.
I've actually had several people not really take me seriously at first. So I said, all right, I'm going to make sure people take me seriously. And I invested in trademarking Me Monday. And as of April, it's an officially registered trademark. So
Yay.
I want to invite everybody who's listening to this today to know that I have officially put Monday on your calendar as a holiday every week. So just the same as you celebrate every other holiday on your calendar, you can now celebrate that by scheduling something, whether it's 10 minutes, 15 minutes, a half an hour, the whole day. But it's time that's especially for you. And that's really the first step to discovering your secret identity.
I love that. That's awesome. So what beliefs do you have that set you apart from your competition? And I am a collaboration versus competition person, but we all have different perspectives. So what do you think your different perspective is?
My different perspective, you know, Robyn, I appreciate that question. I'm not so sure that it's a perspective as much as it is, for lack of a better way to put it, maybe my superpower that makes me stand out from everybody else. Because when I'm working with either a group or an individual, I can tune in on all the little details that someone shares with me. And so when I reflect those details back, or I know the right questions to ask them about those details, they're almost hearing things about themselves for the first time. And that really helps them be able to zone in on discovering their secret identity. I've worked with so many people over the past year that they all ask me, how do you do that? I'm not really sure. All I know is that I do. And I'm glad that I can, because the truth of the matter is, I'm really not giving them any information that they didn't already have.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just repeating back to them what I hear that they haven't heard from themselves. And it's a beautiful thing when people can discover what they already know and just didn't realize they did.
Mm-hmm.
I love being able to experience that with my clients, because I visually get to see some of these people, and I can see how their lives have just become so different. So it's very rewarding. And I believe that tuning into those fine details is really what makes me stand out.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome. And yeah, sometimes we could say something and not realize that there's a meaning behind it. And I love that you could pull that out and go, is this what you meant? Huh. Well, yeah. So what was the hardest thing to overcome when starting your business?
What was the hardest thing to overcome? That's a great question.
Because there's a lot of people out there that want to start their business or that are starting their business. That's why I ask, because we're all so much alike, and it's part of the connection thing. And
Yeah, I think it was the hardest thing was really deciding, as I'm thinking about it now, probably how to structure it. My bachelor's degree is in business management and marketing. And I've started many small businesses in the past, and I've helped a lot of new business startups. So it's kind of like a little extra talent, I guess, that I have. But originally, I started out talking individually with clients.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I really thought I was going to do. And I guess what felt hard about that was that I wasn't helping as many people as I really wanted. And I discovered by working with groups, especially now with what I help people with, having those groups together actually gave the people in the group the power to be able to hear the same struggle from a different perspective, because these are all professionals who maybe have different businesses, have different specialties, different expertise, and except that they were going through the same struggle from a different perspective. And Rob, I have to say, and I'm sure you found this in people that you work with, there are no two people the same, even if there's only a 1% difference. That 1% difference is as big as a universe. So what works for one person doesn't necessarily work for another, which is why it's so special when someone can actually hear themselves talk about themselves and then discover new things.
Right, right. Very cool. So this next question I ask everybody, because some people have it and some people don't. And I think it's a really important question. So do you have the support network of friends and family encouraging you to do this? Or is this something that you feel compelled to do and you're doing it no matter what anybody says? Kind of like the expectation thing, right?
Well, that's an interesting, it's actually a question, Robyn, because I have a lot of support, absolutely. But the interesting thing is, for so many years, I had people that would ask me if I do this for a living, and I would always say, do what? And they would say, well, you must be a therapist, or you must be a psychologist, or you must be a coach, or you must be a consultant. I'm like, no. And they would say, you should. And I was like, and then suddenly when I decided to try and better myself for the wellness centers to go and get certified as a coach, suddenly it just kind of happened. I said, all right, I guess this was what I was meant to do. So it wasn't really that anybody expected it of me, and it really wasn't anybody pushing me to do it. It just kind of got to the point where I guess I was doing it so much that it seemed like I could help more people if I created my own business and got out there. And I'll just share with you, as much as my clients call me the identity coach, my business name I chose was It's Why. Because when people discover the things that they didn't know about themselves, it really explains why things will change. And so it's just, it made sense. It's why I started doing this, because of all these people that asked me if I was already doing it. So that's why I ended up getting into this. That's how it all happened.
That's awesome. And it's funny that you didn't realize that, and people are going, hello, you're really good at this. You really should do this. So what is your favorite thing about your business?
Wow. My favorite thing is kind of twofold. It's really all the new connections that I get to build, but it's witnessing the new connections that everyone else gets to build. It's really very magical. I had worked with a client who I would see at many of these different networking events, business events, and I would always see them walking around. I would always see them not talking to anybody. Almost that like, you know, somebody noticed me, come talk to me. Right. Right. And after we worked together, not only are they very active in the Chamber of Commerce now, but they're helping other people make connections, and they're out there talking to everyone. And their business has completely changed. And for me to be able to witness that and know that just partnering with someone to help them discover what they already know on their own and watch that transformation, to see the evidence of that transformation, it's magic. It's like being on that magic carpet with Aladdin, going through a whole new world, you know. It's just, it's really magical. And I feel so honored when people actually partner with me to allow me to share in that. That's my favorite part.
That's beautiful. I love that. So what inspires you? What are you passionate about? And it doesn't have to be business.
Jeez. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about the fact that I now laugh every day. I'm just passionate about creativity. I'm very artistic and creative by nature. I'm a chronic think outside the box type of person. So I love being different. And so I typically describe myself as a cartoon on feet because I'm very animated. I know I talk with my hands a lot. And I'm passionate about people. And I think that passion and that belief in self-responsibility, that passion in identity, that passion, I think, is what drives me. It's so important, and I'm a living, walking proof of it. And so I just like to share the passion.
I love that. Well, and we all need more passion in our lives. Absolutely. So who inspires you?
Who inspires me? You know, it's funny. I didn't really have an answer for that. But just yesterday, I had a conversation with someone that reminded me of who inspires me. And that would be my grandmother. That was a woman who lived through more societal change in her lifetime than I think I could really express that I've gone through. And yet she was, at times when women were not even important, the main person in the business that her and my grandfather ran. She was always the leader. She was always the entrepreneur. And she was always the one that no matter what changed around her, she'd acclimate herself to that in such a way of calmness, at least from where I could see. It seemed that way. She was always the go-to person that helped people make sense out of what just didn't seem to make any sense at all. And so I realized when I thought about that question, she would be the person that I always bring to mind if I was searching for an answer for myself, because she was the role model for me that got me through an awful lot of things as I grew up and even into my adult life. And I can honestly say she's been gone for a very long time, even though she had a very long life. And I miss her terribly, but her legacy, the mentor she was, the example that she set was so timeless that it stays with me. and is an inspiration for sure.
That is beautiful. Yay.
Thanks.
So, last question. If you could leave one tip or one golden nugget for the people listening, and it was the only thing you could say and your only chance to say it, what would that be?
Discover your secret identity, starting out with self-responsibility. Learn how to kick the have-to habit and become number one on your to-do list, because that is the first step towards discovering the person who you truly want to be.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And yeah, we should be, this is our life. We should, we have to be important. We have to be, super important in our own life. That's awesome.
You know what, Robyn, it sounds so simple, but the people that I have worked with have truly struggled.
Mm-hmm.
And they really think about it. And so that's the golden nugget, the shiniest nugget that I think I can give you, for sure.
So many of us put our own wants and beliefs and desires on the back burner because we have so much pressure to please everybody else. And so sometimes you got to hit a wall before you actually take a look in the mirror and go, what have I done for me? And discovering actually who I am, who I really want to be, not what these other people want me to be. And that's so important. And yeah, like you said, with health issues and stuff, sometimes you have to hit that wall hard before you actually go, wait, something's not working here.
Right.
Yeah. And if you could jump to that point before you hit the wall and realize, all right, I'm not really being me. How do I become that? You are a perfect person for people to reach out to and go, okay, help me, because I want to live that fulfilled life where it means it to me, not to everybody else.
Yeah. And the bottom line is, the result of that is that when you're better for yourself, you're 100% better for everybody else. Mm-hmm. So everybody wins.
Well, and but at the same time, sometimes we have to be better for ourselves no matter what other people expect. They might go, wait, I don't like this new you. Well, it doesn't really matter if you do or not. This is me. Yeah, this is my life. And so sometimes, there's just super pressure sometimes from families and friends of what they expect from you. But yeah, you have to find that for you. And then once they get used to it, it's like, I love the new you. Yes,
Well, so here's the thing. If we become the person that we think other people want us to be and we're not ourselves, then you're not really being yourself if you're always going to worry about that. It's not about how other people, let's face it, not everyone in the world is going to like everybody else. That's human nature. Mm-hmm. Some of us get along better with others. We find that every day. But when I say we're better for other people and other people will benefit, I know a lot of people say, well, I can't do something for myself because I have to take care of my kids. Or I can't do something for myself because I have to take care of my parents. But if you're always in that mindset, who's putting that pressure on you? They're not really doing that, because there are a lot of things that we may have to do. Mm-hmm. But if we do them the way we want to do them, might that be different?
Totally.
Really what it comes down to. So I think in the end, if you're taking care of parents, maybe elderly parents, the way you want to, you're happier when you're with them. If mm-hmm. you're doing things with your kids the way you want to, not because you have to, then they're going to enjoy that time with you as you're going to enjoy with them. Same thing with a spouse or a partner. It's being able, the way I put it is my focus is on leveling it up. Okay. And so I truly believe that we can't actually level anything that's external. We have to level it up inside first. And if we do that, everything else gets better.
That's awesome. So is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience?
I would just like to share that I would like to be able to donate a 30-minute conversation to anybody who might want to see if they have a secret identity they haven't met yet.
And I think there's a ton of people out there. So how would they schedule that with you? How would they get in touch with you?
They can email info@itswhy.com, and it's is spelt with a Z, so it's info, INFO, at ITZWHY.com.
I love that. Awesome. So for all of you listening, I'm sure you know a couple people who are kind of lost and they just don't know who they are, or it could be you. Please take a minute to share this video, because everybody deserves to find what their own superpower is, what really lights them up, and to start living who they are, not who everybody else wants them to be. So please share the video. And again, if you want that 30-minute consultation with Miss Lynn, you go to info@itswhy.com. It's ITZWHY.com. So we appreciate you being here. Thank you very much, Lynn, for being here and having me pick your brain just a little bit. I appreciate
the opportunity.
Yes, I love your heart. You got a great heart, and I love what you're doing, and it's awesome. So thank you, everybody. We will see you next time.